Here's one towards the goal. That's going to be gloved by Travis Ridgen. Well, this is more like it.
This is Slangin The Bizkit. Here's Travis Ridgen and Dave Wheeler.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Slangin The Bizkit. This is going to be a new digs for this week, new setup, new studio. I got to give a shout out to my boy AJ Galante, Danbury Trashers, talking trash in Danbury for the week. Thanks to the man to my right over here, Trew Crew.
How we doing?
We'll explain everything in a second, but AJ was nice enough to give us a studio for this week. So my amazing co-host Dave Wheeler is on holidays. He's spending time with his family and his beautiful wife Candace Ray, who's a former Playboy bunny, but from Playboys to bad boys, talking trash. AJ Galante, Brody Trew, Trew Crew.
We discussed this. Is it slinging or slanging the biscuit? I'm very confused.
Slingin The Bizkit.
Slinging the biscuit, okay.
But it's spelt slangin' because when I started the podcast, I wanted to give people something to talk about. It's spelt slangin', but you say slingin'.
You're a tricky guy. That's good.
Trolling at its finest.
Ultimate troll on hockey. Here we go.
You think so? You think so?
I think so.
How so?
We're going to find out in a couple hours. There's going to be a video on my channel where we'll find out how good Trav really is at hockey. So
What's it going to be titled?
Trav sucks.
Trav sucks. This goal is so bad. Trew Crew dominates.
One-on-one with the world's most hated goalie. Actually, no. One-on-one with the best goalie in women's pro hockey.
Yes, there it is.
Right here. Got the belt. Right here. Best goalie in women's pro hockey.
You're really pushing that. I mean, you should just go all the way. They got to be having tryouts soon. You know what I mean? You're pushing for that. Why not, right?
Imagine I turn up. Hey, I'm here for the tryout. Gilmore. Oh, better luck next year.
Hey, it doesn't hurt. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You never know.
In the words of the great Wayne Gretzky, brother of the first ever Trasher, Brent Gretzky.
That is correct. Well, the first Trasher we announced, the first Trasher was indeed Brad Wingfield, but the first one we announced was the second great one, Brent Gretzky. He was. I got so much respect for that man because I can't imagine being him and deciding I want to play pro hockey. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine? It's like you talk about being in shadow. I know it's like to be in a shadow too. Being in shadows is tough, and I mean that's like being in an eclipse. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I had so much respect for that man because he's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna play. I like hockey. You know, I don't care. He really went with it because he knew why 9 out of 10 people wanted to have him around and stuff. So I give him a lot of credit. I'll never forget. It was actually one of the saddest things I ever saw. But he said it as a joke, but I don't know if he was really joking because he wore number 49. And someone's like, Brent, why do you wear number 49? He goes, because I'm half the man my brother is. I was like, I waited for the laugh and it never really came, but it kind of did. And I was just, ha ha. It was sad, man. But in our league, he was a good player. He was actually legitimately good. He was a sniper, man. He was just like his brother, just, a couple rungs down,
So you're serious, though? That's why he wore 49?
Yeah, well, that's what he said. Because I think he always wore, I think in his Tampa Bay Lightning shot, he's wearing 49. I'll never forget. I was someone random like, oh, Brent, where'd you get 49 from? And he said, well, I'm half the man my brother is. And I was just like, I was a teenager. I was like, damn, that's deep, man. That's like the nervous laughter came out, and it was. But I give him so much credit because it's just like LeBron James' son. Everyone gets on LeBron James' son. I mean, he wants to play basketball. I mean, he's never gonna be his dad, but give him credit, man. Sometimes people they run on that. They run on that underdog spirit because even though he's had a lot going for him in life, LeBron's son, I mean, he's battling. I mean, we've talked about it on our pod. I mean, you're battling something inside of you. So good for him. I'm happy for LeBron's son.
And as great as Wayne was, how good looking was he, man? That flow hanging out the back,
Such a
cruising down the
good-looking guy.
wing. You don't think he was good looking?
He was a good guy. He was a good guy.
The jawline.
I know.
When he had that turtleneck and the Kings mugshot photo. Man, that dude must have cleaned up before that changed.
It's funny because, hockey guys, they don't really, basketball, football guys, they flaunt it. But you're right. You wonder what his real stats are. You know what I mean? You never
Greatest
know.
stat in pro hockey. Most points by any two brothers, Wayne and Brent Gretzky. Wayne had 3,000. His brother had 3.
Shout out to Brent Gretzky. That's my Gretzky. I don't care what anybody says. I'm taking Brent 7 days a week.
Yeah, and that's also I got to give a shout out to Brody Trew, the man to my right. He reached out to me a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. He said, let's shoot a video. I want to do one-on-one with you. I've been doing this whole summer series of almost Mr. Beast style videos. I'm going to fly you out to Danbury, and we're going to go one-on-one, and you covered all of it because you're way bigger than me now. Congratulations on the success you've
This
had.
is actually not our first podcast, believe it or not. We had a podcast, like 3 years ago?
4 years. Yeah, about 4 years
Mini
ago.
Trew Crew. Coming to be with Pat Shea, who was on your podcast at the time. And, yeah, here we are now. It's crazy. It was a virtual podcast. This is the first time I met him. He's a lot taller in person, I will say that. He is huge.
Dude, he walked into the gym, because I know, I was telling him, I deal with boxing now, too, and now everyone's box rec or hockey DB, everyone's always seems to be 2 inches taller than they are in real life. And when he walked in today, who the hell's this beanstalk over here? I was like, holy shit. Trav's a big boy, man.
Eat your vegetables.
I guess I
eat
didn't
your
eat
protein.
any vegetables.
Or eat your meat. Don't be a soy
Yeah,
boy.
people think that I'm taller than what they see when I walk in.
What are you weighing in at?
140? Or what do you mean? I'm 140 pounds.
140 pounds. How much in height?
5'6", 5'7" on a good day.
You make a good super lightweight. That's in boxing. He's a super lightweight. 140. You're right in. You should come to the gym, man. He's right in
Elite
line with
Prospect
super.
says I'm 160, which I'll take that. I will take that all day.
You want to come to the boxing gym tomorrow? Diamond Hands has been ducking me for about 3 weeks now.
Oh man, he hears that. He's gonna be rattled. He's gonna be rattled. If he hears that.
I'll say it in your studio because I told him in person to his face. I told him for when him and I did the podcast 2 weeks ago, let's get in the Muay Thai gym. Let's do a little sparring. I don't care how it goes. I just want to do it because A, it's respectable, and B, me and Diamond Hands kickboxing, that's great promo right there. I've gotten about 15 excuses for why he couldn't make it. He's like, okay, let's do a time. Okay, let's do 10 a.m. Oh, bro, we got locked out of the gym. We can't come in. I think Diamond Hands is ducking.
No, I will never believe that. I'm Team Diamond Hands. There's no way. DH ducks nobody, pal.
Am I trolling? Leave a comment. Comment
That's a
below.
troll.
I mean, I mic'd him up, so I was in his brain when he was beating people up. So I don't think he's avoiding you, man.
Do you have the headphones in when he's
Yeah,
mic'd?
I heard his breathing. I heard them when he had that marathon fight. I forget who was that.
Schmidt,
Schmidt.
yeah.
He was like, "Oh, let's go, keep going." And his I think his right or left hand was broken or something at the time.
Yes.
So he was like, I gotta switch, and you could hear this on the mic. He's just going to town. And it was actually incredible. Miking someone up is probably the coolest, most. It's like you feel like you're in the moment because you're on the bench essentially. So it's probably one of the coolest things. If you want to mic someone up, try it. It's super cool.
I think the best thing from all the mic videos you did with Diamond Hands was when he's fighting Justin Schmidt because you got the audio. You can hear him trying to inspire inspiration in his enemy.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like when he's fighting guys, like, yeah, what's up, buddy? You like that?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
hear Diamond Hands, come on, you can do it. Come on, switch hands. You can do it better. Let's go. And he's trying to inspire his opposition, which I found incredible.
But then the next period, it was not inspiring. He just wanted to, he just wanted to rip his head off.
It's true because I remember growing up. I didn't play high-level hockey, but growing up, I was born in '86, watching hockey in the '90s. Guys were killing each other, and I thought everyone hated each other, like legitimately. Then when with the Trashers, Wingfield would really school me on how it works and the enforcers, and they're like, we're all buddies. Like, we all know each other. We grew up with each other, but it's a job. But it's funny, growing up, I would think everyone hated each other. I know Amesy loves Schmitty, and I love Schmitty too. He's a character. I'm trying to get him on our Talkin Trash one day. He's legendary enforcer, but it's funny sometimes when you don't know, you see them talking to each other and you're thinking they're mother effing each other and talking about their moms, but it's funny some of the things you hear.
Man, you want to talk about a tough guy? A guy who's been to jail 3 times, I think. Like, that's a real tough guy.
Who's that?
Schmitty.
Oh, Schmitty is no Schmitty is he's the best, man. When I was doing Ice Wars, he was our second champion, the second one, and he's as tough as they come, man. He's the best.
I enjoyed playing with him, man. Him and I were in Watertown together. Morning cup of Joe at the Keurig. Schmitty, how you doing? Talk politics with him. He's a little bit more right-leaning than I am, which I'm pretty right-leaning to begin with. But yeah, I enjoyed playing with him. It was a fun time.
How many are you the coffee king in the Veni team? I'm shocked. It takes a lot for me to be shocked. I'm shocked watching this guy the last few hours. You're with the water right now, thank God. I'm worried about your heart.
Yeah, we got to skate later, so I got to hydrate up a little bit.
This guy's gonna be zinging around.
So you guys are going one-on-one,
Yep.
correct? And I love that concept, by the way. I love the one-on-one, because being in boxing, I love the face-offs. I love the one-on-one concept. So this is going to be interesting.
What I was talking to him about was like the NHL right now. Like, no disrespect to NHL, but it's it's pretty stale. Like it's the same thing over and over and over again. People try to change it. It's the same thing. Like it is changing slowly, but like there's nothing. I saw a 3v3 league. I mean, SoFlo does it, but there's got to be something else. So I'm starting this new 1v1 YouTube series. So the goal is to 1v1 not only me, but other people 1v1, so that I'm gonna be commentating. It's different. It's a different type of hockey. But yeah,
it's fun because there's storylines. There's a lot you could do with it, and it's just like boxing. I mean, when I throw shows, you want to match guys that there's some controversy, or maybe it's fun, man. It's like I've been enjoying watching that, a lot of the face-offs and stuff like that. Who knows? Might get a betting deal soon, so you never know.
Where did that idea come from, though? Because you basically turned that series into trying to be maybe not trying, but the Mr. Beast style of hockey.
So the original 1v1v1 video with the 18 players, I got straight out of EA Sports NHL. They have like this, it's like not a hidden mode, but like it's called One. So it's like a Fortnite type of mode where like it's a 1v1v1 and you kind of work your way to the final, and then the winner of that wins the whole thing. And I was like, why has no one done this in real life? So I made that video in real life, and it did really well. It's almost at 300,000 views. So then I was like, if people really like the one-on-one-on-one, why not just try one-on-one, see how that goes? We're still working on it. It's a new concept, so obviously people are not going to be like, oh, this is awesome. So we're still trying to gain some traction, but I think with the most hated goalie on the entire internet, I think we will get some traction.
Look at that
sure.
face. He loves it. It's such a badge of honor because, like, I grew up in the days where you want that badge of being the worst. Everyone hates you. That's the best, man. One of my biggest goals in life growing up was, the asshole chants when you go to shows. Like, asshole. I came this close once at a wrestling event. They had a beach volleyball going around, and I'm like, if that ball comes to me, I'm deflating it. Sure as I swear to God, I got witnesses to it. It was coming close. Guy 2 rows over gets it, deflates it. They hit him with the a-hole chant. I was pissed. That was my a-hole chant. And this guy took my thunder, man.
But now a quick word from today's video sponsor, Sheath Underwear. Sheath Underwear is the only option when it comes to staying comfortable for me. Their bamboo mesh will help your body breathe, stay cool, and aerated. Their dual pouch technology is game-changing for any man out there that know all about what it means to have something stick to the side of your leg or getting sweaty and nasty down there, but Sheath fixes all that. American-made and founded by a member of the U.S. military, Sheath is the only underwear I use and have worn for every episode in this series to date. I do a lot of traveling, by the way. And when you go to the link in the video description and use the promo code, you get 20% off the best underwear money can and ever will buy. And thank you so much to Sheath for sponsoring this video. What an interesting world, though, right? Like the whole concept of like throwing your stuff out there online, and some people love it, some people hate it. You get all this hate, you get all this love, and I mean, I think yours is the perfect example. I remember the first time I saw your videos. I left a comment. I don't know. Do you ever remember my first comment?
I remember a comment because you're actually one of the top, one of the first hockey influencers that actually commented. I think it was like GoPro. It's like a GoPro college combine thing, and you commented. And I was like, dude, no way! You won't believe who commented. Trav commented, and my buddy's like, whoa. And then sure enough, we go on a podcast a year later, but like it's so funny how you just like you have like this, because my YouTube channel, we talked about this last podcast years ago, I just started as a joke, and that I feel like that's how a lot get
Everything
started.
starts as a joke. Everything.
Until you start getting traction, and you're like, I feel like I could definitely make something out of this. So like, it was really cool to see you comment it, because like that shows that people are actually watching, which as when you're starting up, that's you get one thing, you're going to take off from there. So, like, thank you for that.
But my dad always taught me, too. He's like, whatever you do in life, you just always assume someone's watching. You never know who's watching, who's going to pick it up. And he's so right where, like every once in a while someone comes, man, that was a great episode with this and that. I can't wait to get the reviews from our episode together. But it's true. When people, that kind of like that acknowledgement, it goes a long way. It keeps you going.
I mean, even the concept of you upload a podcast or a video that's a quote-unquote flop that did 5,000, 10,000, 1,000 views. If you sat down 1,000 people in an auditorium, you looked at it, that's an insane amount of people.
I was actually thinking about that the other day, because I recently hit 100,000 on Instagram, and I was like, when you're in it for so long, you're like, well, this guy has 300,000. But when you like really put into perspective, a football stadium doesn't even have 100,000. So you're saying if you were in the middle of a football stadium and it was wrapped around with 100,000 people, that's not a lot of people. That's a lot of people. So like you kind of got to bring yourself back and be like, listen, like, you're okay. Like, you had one video that didn't do well, doesn't mean you're not going to be successful. Like, keep going. So it's good to kind of step yourself back a little bit.
It's hard because you compare yourself. It's so easy to compare. The numbers are right there, allegedly. Because I'm convinced, not anyone here, but there's people that fudge the numbers. But it's easy to compare yourself.
Like the Fed attendance. Had to get that in there.
Allegedly. But it's true. It's so hard because you're always constantly comparing yourself. And you know if you're good at something. Like, I think we got something, me and Amesy, or just in general. Like, I know we got something. It's just going to take crafting it, keep going. But it's hard. It's hard when you see other people and you're like, that production sucks. How the hell did they get X, Y, Z? Ours is way better than that. It's just, like you said, it's just punches and bunches. Just keep throwing. Something's going to land eventually.
Well, there is no right formula. It's just a varying degree of yes. And I mean, even like your college recruiting combine videos, just a GoPro 6 on top of your helmet. You're using the built-in audio, nothing over the top, but you're doing more numbers and getting more success than the NHL that's using $50,000 cameras mic'd up, right? Like what? Like where's the benchmark? What is success?
Yeah.
I mean, even like the hate you probably must have gone through, like when you're posting that.
I
and
get
guys are
hate. I probably, like, you get probably the most hate, but I also get so much hate as well, where it's like, you probably look at your comments because you're kind of a psycho, but I know you like to go in your comments. I
look
don't like to
sometimes.
go
I'm
in
like,
my
this
comments.
guy's a Domino's
But
pizza driver. What the
I
hell?
also specifically post videos that I know they'll get hate because it drives engagement. So, like, I have the mic'd up videos. I know you've probably seen them, but, like, some of them are super questionable what I'm saying. But if there's going to be people that hate it and there's going to be people that like it, if you have more hate than likes, who cares? You're still getting people watching your video, and I feel like that's the hurdle you have to get through when you're first starting is there's going to be a lot of hate no matter what you do, but if you're getting hate, you're doing something right. So that's kind of a message.
Just like I said, like growing up with wrestling, I always liked the bad guys. They always had a different. You got to have a reaction. If there's no reaction, it's over. You know, there's no whether it's bad, good. As long as there's a reaction, cheers, boos. He's right. It's what it is. You need that. But it's true. Like, you know, bringing the Trashers up again, it was like we wanted to create the first ever heel bad guy wrestling hockey team, and that's what it was. Everywhere we went, people trying to throw stuff at the butt. I mean, everyone hated it, and we were the number one gross ticket. Like, anytime we went anywhere, they sold out because they just want us to lose so bad that they would pay money to watch us. And we had good teams. One thing that bothers me is, like, we're known for the fighting, the craziness, but we had good teams. Like, we went to the finals the second year. We went to the conference finals the first year. I mean, we had good teams, and I mean, you got to win too. You can't just be crazy. You got to actually win. If you're not winning, it's stupid. You know what I mean? So.
Can you tell the Scrappy the trash can story? That's one of the best stories I've heard.
You
in a long
love
time.
that. So
I love that.
I rigged the. All right. So I rigged.
Can we back it up? So
Yeah.
you were the youngest general manager in pro hockey history at 16 years old, managing the Danbury Trashers. Your dad bought the trash company, or owned the trash company, bought a team, named it after the trash company, the Trashers, appointed you general manager, and so we need a mascot for the team. Then.
Well, the funny thing is, I hated the name Trashers at first. Like, when he told me, it's going to be the Trashers, I was like, that sucks. I was like, I didn't get it. I didn't, even as a kid, I just didn't like it. I don't know why, but I just didn't like the name. And the crazy thing about the logo was we had, like, nowadays, whether it's AI or someone, you can get a logo tomorrow. Like, it's easy. Back in those days, getting a logo was a whole ordeal. Like, it was a whole ordeal. You had to find a company, and it would take forever. So my dad had a guy that worked at the, who striped the letters on the trucks and stuff, make a little bootleg logo. It was literally, the logo sucked. It was literally just Trashers spelled out. And I think the S on the bottom formed it was trash, literally. It was trash. It was horrible. I was like, this sucks. This team name sucks. Everything's going to suck. Sure enough, I got to give a shout out to Dominic Alessandro. He's still in Danbury. He owns a marketing firm in the city, in Manhattan. He's on the subway. He's on the train from Danbury going to the city. He read an article in the paper about the Trashers coming. This guy sketched the Trashers logo on a piece of paper on the train. And he told me he held on to it for a little. He wasn't going to send it in. He wasn't, you know what I mean? Literally, it's a true story. My dad could confirm it. an hour before our first press conference when we were going to unveil this horrible logo. It was trash. It was like a stencil. It was horrible. We get a fax. My dad's secretary comes, got a fax. And it was the Trashers logo. The can, I was like, immediately I'm like, oh my God, that's it. Now I get it. Now I like the you know what I mean? Had he waited an hour, we would have never had that logo because we would have probably missed the fax or whatever. So anyway, listen, like every inaugural hockey team in pro hockey, we're doing a naming contest for the mascot, right? I rigged it. It was never back in my day, there was a rapper named Little Scrappy who I loved. I love Little Scrappy. And he was hot at the time. I love Little Scrappy. I had a CD in the car. And I'm like, no, the mascot's going to be Scrappy. It's perfect. Scrapyard, Scrappy, it's perfect. So I had we were getting like 100 entries naming, the mascot. These poor people had no idea. They had no shot. So I had my boy James, like, James, can you just write Scrappy and send it in? And he did. And sure enough, he won. He won something too. A sponsor gave him. So it was the funniest picture. I got to find it. It's a picture of me and him. And I'm like holding his arm up like, hey, he won. And, no one knew that was my friend and stuff. But, yeah, we rigged the naming contest. That's not an allegedly. That's a very serious thing. And it worked because I can't look at him and think of any other name. So
Scrappy the trash can.
Scrappy the trash can, yeah. There was one entry, I can't remember the name. There was an entry that was actually kind of good. And had I not rigged it, we probably would have went with it. But I forget what it was, so it wasn't that good. But there was one or two that was okay. But
I seen the video of the trash can mascot. Like, where's the mascot costume these days?
there is a bounty out for Scrappy. We don't know where he is. We have put out wanted. Actually, we may have to do another wanted. I might have to collab with you guys. You guys have got big platforms. Scrappy is somewhere. The gentleman who played Scrappy swears up and down he doesn't have it. You know, because unfortunately, when we lost the team, within a week or two later, there was an unfortunate federal raid, and a lot of things went. I am convinced that the FBI offices in New Haven has Scrappy somewhere. There's no way someone knowingly has it because they would have probably made money by now. They would have sold it. They would have put it up for 100%. It was an elite mascot, by the way. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, just some skinny legs on skates coming out of a trash can. I mean, it's nothing better than that. But Scrappy is somewhere. If anyone knows, there is a reward. But I believe that it might be in a federal agent warehouse. I don't know. They might not even know they have it, but it's somewhere. There's no way it's got to be somewhere. It's one of the great mysteries. One of the most things that I think about once a week, like where Scrappy is, and you could get top dollar for it. So it's got to be somewhere.
You should send Diamond Hands there to the office.
Listen, I'd send him, but he doesn't. No one knows where it is, and it's like I'm convinced it's either in the FBI office or someone has it randomly in a storage box in their garage somehow, and they don't even know they have it. You know what I mean? And because actually after that indictment and raid, unfortunately, a lot of assets got put up for auction. My dad actually was the owner of a modified race car team, and a lot of the race cars got sold for pennies. So it could have went out to an auction for all we know. But I mean, no one knew back then we'd be talking about the Trashers in 2024. So it's either somewhere unknowingly, someone's sitting on a gold mine, they don't know it, or it's behind bars, literally. So who knows? But I have faith that one day we will cross paths again.
What's the bounty on it? How much for finding it?
I don't want to put it out there yet. I haven't given too much thought. I'm willing to reward someone if they have it. We might have to put this online and maybe do a GoFundMe and put it in escrow or something. But
So a hefty amount and a custom jersey. We put that out there to the viewers?
Easily a jersey. I mean, if that's what it takes, that's fine. I'll get you the whole set, black, blue, and white. You get a whole set of jerseys, but it's somewhere. But only God knows. I have faith. We'll get them.
It's a legendary mascot, Scrappy. That's an awesome story. Thanks for sharing that, by the way.
Well, the first guy who played the mascot was drunk, and when we unveiled him, he
got his empties in the suit.
And that was it. He unfortunately got relieved of his duties. And then a buddy I went to high school with, Kevin, played him the rest of the next 2 seasons. So it's
I
funny.
remember seeing that mascot on the Netflix show, and I was like, "This is awesome."
Dude, it was like literally, it was just a can. Actually, you got to remember, this is 2004. Like, they did a good job. The mascot was really good. The eyes, everything. It was just funny because there was no lower, right? It was like it got to your waist, and it was just Kevin would always wear like black sweats, and it was just like his skinny little spindly legs underneath the can. It was just
That's scrappy though. That's scrappy.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was funny, man. He would go to schools. People loved him after. People love Scrappy. So.
He wore gloves and a stick, but there's the skin legs popping out.
Yes, he couldn't shoot well. He definitely couldn't. He definitely wouldn't win any ones against Brody. That's for sure. He couldn't really move that good. It was definitely not a functional outfit, but it worked.
And if we could find Scrappy 1-on-1 versus Scrappy the trash can.
It's a dream. I mean, to have him back, I would be. There's not much more I want in life, but Scrappy having him return home would be just a blessing.
Life is complete?
Yes, that would be one of the things that could make things a lot better. Yeah.
The Ridge wallet, the greatest wallet in the history of wallets ever to exist.
I am now officially a Ridge wallet owner, and I could not be happier. That thing is awesome. What I love about it is that I get to a point with my wallets where you stack something in, and then it stretches out the leather, and then when you take it out, everything's loose and none of your cards stay in. Doesn't matter how many cards you have in this thing, it's tight all the time.
Sleek, stylish, portable, comes with a lifetime warranty. You break it, they'll send you a new one. No questions asked. They have a 90-day return policy. So again, if you can find some reason why you didn't like it, you send it back. No questions asked. Ridge is awesome. It's got my goddamn last name on it.
I was just going to say, despite the fact that they share a last name, not your actual company.
No. You can pick a Ridge wallet up for up to 40% off, I believe. The link in the video description at ridgewallets.com. Use the promo code in there as well. And thanks to Ridge Wallets for being the presenting sponsor for today's show. Like your college recruiting series. This is one thing that I was curious about. Like the hate that you're getting when you're starting the series and starting to pop off and people are seeing it that maybe knew you as a kid. Like, oh, I know that Brody Trew guy. Like, what's that process look like?
You know what's crazy about that is you're right about, oh, I knew that kid, because now people that I haven't talked to in like 4 years randomly FaceTime me. And I already know, because half the time I pick up and it's them, and then they hold the phone up and there's like a group of people behind them and they're like, what's up, Brody? And I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? We haven't talked in like 6 years. But it's been a crazy road because like I was the only one other than Pat Shea at the time, but he was doing the college stuff. That was doing the junior hockey stuff. So especially in junior hockey, everyone wanted to kill me. So it was like, it was a lot. I mean, I was at this college showcase, or not college showcase. Oh yeah, it was a college showcase last year for that '93, and like I would play these players that wanted to kill me. And after the game, I kid you not, I'd come out because I had like coaches talking to me. They would ask for a picture with me after they just try to rip my head off. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, I wanted to kill you at the game, and now you want to be friends? Like, it's been a wild journey, but...
Kim brings out a different side of people, though. When they know you're recording, you get a totally different version of it.
I wonder what it would have been like if I just didn't record and, like, what my hockey career would be. Because, like, obviously I wouldn't have gone to the NHL, but, like, I probably would have gone to college, but, like, I just wonder if I would have been better at hockey, if that makes any sense. Because, like, I was 50-50ing it with my hockey and my camera stuff, because, like, you got to balance it. You can't just do one thing hard. But the only reason I went to NA3 was for the content, so that probably played a role.
So you're done now. You don't want to play competitive anymore?
I mean, I would like to play competitive, but, I mean, it's...
You got a lot. You got a lot going. I mean...
The thing with pro, and, like, I did actually... I think we talked about this, but I did want to play Fed next year. And the thing with pro right now is, like, if you get traded, dude, like, you're gone. Like, I have everything in Connecticut, so, like, I have to rehire everyone. I have to rehire a crew. Like, I can't do that. So, like, playing pro, like, it was too much of a commitment, especially if I want to make content. Like, it's a team first when I was trying to make content, so it gets a little messy. So, like, eventually I want to make a league where it's, like, relaxed but still super competitive. So, like, you can still, like, wake up the next day and, like, you don't have to practice that much, but it's still a competitive league. So that's hopefully the dream in the future.
Do you believe any of the other influencers when they say, oh, I'm 100% in on my hockey career and I just so happen to make videos? Do you believe them, or do you think they're...
Depends on what they're posting. If they're posting, like, I don't know, like skits and stuff, like, I don't know about that. Like, you should be practicing your hockey after the practice instead of making content. But, like, if it's, like... I don't know. It's such a fine line. Like, you really don't know, because I was really serious about it until I got to, like, 4th year NA3, and, like, I am a competitive person, so I was still trying, but, like, it wasn't like, I need to make it to the next level, I need to make it to the next level. So, like, it's such a fine line where you really don't really know, but I do give them a lot of credit for doing content, because in the hockey world, it is such a brutal place, to be honest. So,
In what context?
like, just the hate, like, you post something that, like, is out there, and, like, you just get bashed compared to, like, any other sport, really. So, especially because hockey is so, like, you have to be tough, you can't do this, you have to do this. Like,
We were literally just talking about it, and I think you shouldn't give up yet. But I think you're right. You're young enough where you can concentrate on what's working. But I don't think you're done. I think you're a competitive guy. I think you're kind of in the same mold as us, and I think. But you gotta go. Listen, time is funny. They'll reveal it. Sometimes you could overplan and be like, that door is shut. You know what I mean? And before you know it, next thing you know it, you're there. But we were literally just talking about how hockey's so funny, because you're not supposed to have fun. You score, put your head down. You know, they love that. But deep down, all these guys really want to be what you guys are doing. They want to do that, but they don't have the ability or the confidence to do it. They just, and that's okay. But I always love when I see that, because it's like, when we did the documentary, man, it takes a lot to put your life out there, because you're going to get shit one way or the other. And that's okay. But guys want to do it. I mean, Trav and I were just talking about it. I mean, Amesy too. Amesy's just him. You know what I mean? And he does his thing. And but everybody, like, that's where the hate comes from, because it's like, why Brody and Trav? Like, why can they do this and we can't? You know, we grew up with them. Like, why can't we? Because they just don't have it. There's an it factor.
I feel like all hockey players have the personality to do it, because, like, hockey guys.
like, I feel like if anyone on my team, throughout all my years, if they did what I was doing, they would be in the exact same spot as I am. Like, everyone has their own unique personality. Some people just have, like, they're just, like, I feel like being in love with filming yourself, well, not yourself, but you know what I mean.
Well, you have to have a touch of narcissism.
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
that,
you have
though.
to have a touch, but also, like, have an idea of what you're doing, because my main thing was trying to make it as professional as possible. But there's some people out there that have, like, the dumbest looking editing, and they're super, super successful, but that's their style. You have to find your style. But, like, I feel like anyone can do what we're doing. You just got to put yourself out there. And getting over that hurdle is probably the hardest part.
It's fear. It's fear. It's like, you put it. Like, when we started the podcast, I mean, I wanted to do it because there's a bigger picture to what I'm trying to accomplish. Do I think I'm going to be a big time podcaster? Who knows? But that's not my goal. My goal is, I got other goals. But you're right. Like, just getting over that hump of just getting the first episode banged out. Because it's like, we had the successful documentary. Now I'm going to do this. Am I going to screw anything up? Like, I don't want to look stupid. But you just do it, man. I do so many things. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But you're right. Just overcome that first step, and you're off to the races.
Once you put it out there, you can't take it back.
Yeah.
It gets out there, and that's how people will see you forever, and they have the ability to decipher how they do or don't want to see you. They could hate you. They could love you. I mean, I'm sure you get both of it both ways.
I was telling you earlier at the gym, like, the day before the Netflix documentary came out, I remember it all started to hit me, because they had filmed 2 years ago. It was taking them over a year to produce, and then it was like, all right, the week before they dropped the trailer. So the night before was like Christmas Eve. I'm like, wait. And we didn't get a screening of it. That's what a lot of people don't know, is like, we didn't get like some pre-screening of it. When it went live at 12:01 a.m., that's when we could see it with everybody else. And number one, I didn't really think anyone was going to watch it. And number two, it started to hit me. I was just like, these guys could just sandbag us right now and make us look so stupid. And part of the deal was I had to give them all my home videos, so they had B-roll. A lot of the B-roll on Netflix was my home videos. That's what it was. There was no, like, we didn't have stuff like this back in the day. So I just was so scared. I was like, oh, my God, how, but you got to put yourself out there. It happens, you know what I mean? And you just roll with the punches one way or the other, It's crazy.
That's scary, though, to give them that level of trust. You
Yeah.
give them the footage, and you're like, I really hope that I didn't give them something bad and they bury me, because they could.
Dude, I had home videos, me and my buddies, 15 years old, messing around on sleepovers, doing stuff and being crazy and this and that, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, are they gonna like, you don't know. You don't know that it's their narrative now. You know what I mean? And like you said, once it's out there, they could have made me look so bad if they wanted to, and there's nothing you could do. It's hard to recover nowadays.
Well,
with
they
stuff
were
like that.
starting to. I remember that. They were starting to, and then all of a sudden you were the good guys. Like, okay, thank God.
My God, it was the great. It was the great. We were just talking about it. I was like, the funniest compliment I get, at least once a week, is, man, I just watched the doc. I hated you the first 5-10 minutes. You were such a loser. I hate you, douchebag. Then we ended up, you're a nice guy. I said, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Nice guy. But yeah, it's funny, but it's I tell people the pen is mightier than the sword. You know what I mean? So you got to be good to like journalists and stuff like that, because they're the ones that nowadays, be good to the guy with the camera, be good to the editors, because they could change things real quick if they want to. I tell people the pen is mightier than the sword, for sure.
Always be nice to them because you never know when they might come back in. But I always get kind of concerned anytime I give anything to like the mainstream media, because they'll take what you say and they'll completely spin it in a different direction. They have your brand.
Yeah.
And like, do I want to give you my brand or like my personality or like my name, and then kind of like you twist that in a weird way? Like I did
Change your words up.
Yeah, like I did a feature on like CTV that did like a mainstream news in Canada. And I remember they totally changed everything up. This is like 2-3 summers ago. And I was like, man, that's totally not what I said, but you chopped it up to make it look completely different.
Well, that's why it's important, and again, it's so different nowadays. It's so important to have your own platform, because at least you could defend yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you could go on Instagram and be like, yo, I didn't, you know what I mean? And then people could decide. It's like he said, she said, but especially in the old days, especially when my dad was going through stuff, stuff would come in the paper, that was it. You know what I mean? Talk about your family, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, the close people in your life know the real, but my dad didn't have Instagram to go on and be like, hey, these guys are, shaking me down, or this is true, this isn't true. You know what I mean? Like, you had no defense. You know what I mean? Now, that's why it's important. I tell these young kids, like, be smart, but have your own platform, because it's a little layer of defense. I mean, it won't help everything, but you have to have that little layer of defense, or you're screwed, man.
I think most people have the ability to see the truth. Right, like you can have these small portions that are peddling a certain narrative, but most people, I think, are very. They see it for what it actually is. They don't actually buy into the lies. Which, like when your dad was around, the newspaper printed out a story. That, like you said, that was it. There was no rebuttal. Your dad didn't have a podcast. Maybe he could have gone on the radio or TV to talk about it. Yeah. But they also are the same people that made that newspaper article that are going to spin it in a certain way. But I think the majority of people just don't believe any of that stuff anymore.
Well, that's why it's good to have the platform, because look, I'm 38. At this point, I've always, even since I was younger, I could talk to someone and know, I could pretty much figure someone out quick, who they are, what they're about. And that's why it's good to have your platform. Sometimes I see these videos of celebrities are apologizing. I know right away, he's sincere, she's full of shit.
Paul.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like you could kind of, and that's why it's good, because if you're an authentic, sincere, solid person, at least, like you say, you have that little layer of defense. You could put yourself out there, and then people could decide, AJ's full of shit, or yeah, he's solid. AJ's a real guy, you know what I mean? So you could, at least you have that now. But back then it was totally different, man.
What do you see in the hockey community? Anything you like, anything you don't like these days?
It's just the hockey community. You kind of live with it for so long. Some things change, some things don't. I will say, rest in peace, Johnny Gaudreau.
Dude, you see the Instagram post his wife made? I'm pretty stoked for the most part. That got me in the feels and feeling a little bit, oh my God, that touched me.
Yeah,
the Grinch's heart grew 10
just
sizes.
Swiping through the photos was just devastating. Like, I mean, I woke up that morning and like Johnny Gaudreau is one of my, like, because he's a small guy, so like I used to watch all his highlights before games and stuff. It's just so devastating to wake up to see that, like, drunk driver, and his brother, like, it's horrible.
When are they gonna come out with all the technology they got nowadays? When are they gonna have a breathalyzer to start your car? I mean, at some point, now I'm not a drinker, but at one point, I mean, I can't now. My new car, shout out to Mount Kisco Chevrolet. They didn't give it to me, but shout out to them anyway, dude. I can't go into drive until my seatbelt is on. You know what I mean? Like in the old days, it would just beep, 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 beep. You gotta shut it up, but now I can't shift gears unless my seatbelt is on. At what point do they make you got to take a friggin' breathalyzer test after like a certain hour. You know what I mean? It's crazy that this stuff is still going on, and you got innocent guys losing. Me when I had my son, it's so crazy how life changes in so many ways. But I will say I definitely softened a lot when my son was born, and it's like I can't imagine getting that call. Like I could not imagine someone calling me and I don't know.
I think what's even worse is they were both there for their sister's wedding, which I was like, I can't even, like, you can't, obviously they canceled it, but like, it's supposed to be the happiest day of your life, and it's turned around like that. Like,
well, it's horrible, man. It's like, there's nothing to even say. It's just like, what do you even say to that? I can't imagine losing a child. I can't imagine being a sister. Like you said, probably girls been thinking about their wedding their whole lives, and then this is, it's just, you ruin so many lives over what, a couple drinks or what. It's crazy, man. World's nuts.
You see the court video, the Zoom video of that guy?
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, 5 or 6 beers, whatever he had. Good for him staying at the scene of the crime, not being a total degenerate and leaving. But then, yeah, you're going to be here till Thursday. Well, really? Like, dude, you just killed 2 people. Like, and also the fact that they're only going to offer him 10 years per. It's like, dude, you just killed 2 men. You ruined 2 families forever. There's an unborn daughter going to be coming into this world soon. And you just wrecked that. Like, she'll never get to know her dad. You should spend the rest of your life in jail.
The justice system is very strange. It's very. I could go on a tangent about it. It's just a very odd what they decide to punish and how. Like you say, you look at certain things with guys or girls. I've been around a lot of people that went away, and what years people were getting for, like, listen. If you do something wrong, you got to pay the price. If you get caught, it is what it is. But some of the years guys were getting, and then like you said, like a guy's gonna probably. The reality is, that's a state penalty. Whatever he gets, he's gonna do half. You know what I mean? So it's like you said, you just ruined countless lives, and he'll probably get out in 10 to 15 years. You know, and he'll still have a back end of his life. You know what I mean? But he'll live with that forever, no matter what he looked like on that Zoom call or whatever. That'll haunt him. That'll haunt him for life. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be feeling that forever. He's not going to get away from that. It's horrible.
I wonder if somebody that selfish does, though. I know we like to think that, like, if we were to do that, we'd live with that for the rest of our lives and feel awful. But somebody that did that, and just based off his body language, his only concern is, I got to be here till Thursday. You just ruined their lives forever.
Generations, too.
Yeah. And 2 girls that are, I guess, soon to be 3 that will never get to know their father. That's really heartbreaking. And again, like I said, the Instagram post his wife made, like, I was so lucky to be yours. You're the apple of my eye. I'll never, like, oh, that got me right in the feels. We promised, getting a little softer talking about this, but when she was like, we promised to make you proud. I can't wait to see you someday. Oh man, that got me that got me in the feels.
Yeah, dude. It's like, life doesn't make sense sometimes. I know of a young girl, I think she's 14, 15 years old, has cancer. And the sweetest girl, never done anything wrong. You know what I mean? And it's like she's really close with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is big in her church, and she teaches the young girls and stuff. And I haven't stopped thinking about that girl since my mother-in-law told me. It's not fair. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's really not, it's not fair. So, that's why you just take every day and true. It's so cliche, but you take every day like it's last and try to do the right things, and that's all you can do, man. Crazy.
My chick was telling me the other day, like, you and I, maybe we get like 70 to 80 summers-ish. But you think about, like, she has a pet corgi, and he only gets like 10 to 12 summers. And it just puts in perspective. You got to make every moment count, kind of like Jack said in Titanic, making it count. I got fresh breath of air in my lungs and an opportunity ahead.
You know what's really sick? This shows how sick I am, and I have too much time on my hands sometimes. I turned 38 last week.
Happy belated.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a great number, 38. That's gonna be my hockey number, dude. So I put into perspective. This shows you how much time I have on my hand. I looked up what the average lifespan of like a male is, and then what I did is I did some math to see, like, if you look at your life as like your phone percentage, like what your battery's at. All right, I divided 38 by, I think it was like 70 something or something like that, like average lifespan. Dude, I'm on like 40-something% left on my phone, dude, and I was freaking out about it. You know,
You gotta
when
find a charger
dude,
quick.
charger quick. You know, like when you hit 70%, you're like, oh you know what I mean? Like, dude, when you did the math like that, I looked at it like I was like, man, that's a sick way of looking at things. You know what I mean? But it's true. Any way you gotta look to, like, you know, cherish every day, man, is crazy.
Make it count, though, whether you're making one-on-one videos, college recruiting videos.
Putting yourself out there, man. Like, at the end of the day, like I saw this on TikTok the other day, it's like, through 300 years, the only thing that's going to be there is your gravestone, and the only numbers is the year you were born and the year you died. There's no in between. So if you mess up today, like, who cares? Like, no one cares. Like, try to make each day count. Like, it's crazy when you put that in perspective, like how much that makes a difference in your day-to-day.
I look at it more of like, do something that would make your ancestors proud, right? Like my mom, her dad was from Germany. He fought in WW2. He's dodging bombs, and those were his real problems. Like, is my missus gonna be there alive when I come home? And fast forward to today, I don't got to deal with that, or like I'm not fighting off saber-toothed tigers like they did 300 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you came home and hope that you didn't die of gangrene at 25 or dodging bombs or a saber-toothed cat. You're like, this is pretty good. I got to do something to make them proud, and something that my kids could look at one day and be like, Dad was a respectable man. So make it count and never be the same. Every day 1% better. Yeah. How's that for a capping off? You should fire it up for your Sunday.
I'm fired up.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. This is Slangin The Bizkit in the Talkin Trash podcast studio. Dave Wheeler and I will be back to our full-time, regular scheduled episodes next week. That's AJ Galante, Talkin Trash, Danbury Trashers. Hit them up. Brody Trew, Trew Crew. Check out our 1v1 with the most hated goalie in women's pro hockey.
It's going to get wild. I'm just saying it's going to get wild.
And me and Dave will see you next Sunday. Thanks for watching.